Om Asatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamashu Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritangamaya Avir Mayedi Rudro Jate Dakshinang Mukham Tena Mang Pahi Nityam Tena Mang Pahi Nityam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light and illumination. Lead us from death to immortality. And evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are in the 7th chapter of the Shanti Gita, but because we are few days off, so better to recapitulate little of this chapter rather than starting new verse. We have to start the verse 31, but I will try to recapitulate what this chapter is for. The Arjuna was asking Bhagavan Sri Krishna that what is that Brahman? What is his sign? What you are talking about, that the knowledge of people of knowledge understands that, and knowing which or experiencing which, I will know myself. Who am I? Please try to tell me. That was the question of the 7th chapter started. And Bhagavan said, there is in your heart, there is a conscious entity. And no, that is your Atman. And you know it by your very fine intellect. And it is like, the infinite space and the space of a jar. It is all space. That's why Brahman is the one, absolute, infinite. When it is limited by name and form, it is called individual soul. But actually, it is the infinite, absolute consciousness alone. And then, whatever you are seeing, you are hearing, you are watching, behind that there is a consciousness. And that is pervaded everywhere. So awareness of this universe, you're seeing, you're feeling, you're experiencing any sense experience object, these are all because of the conscious entity behind. And know that. How to know? You cannot know by your experience at the very beginning, but by vichar, by analysis. Try to analyze who is the observer in you, who is seeing things. Sambidang tang vichareno chaitanyam avadhara. And then, what is that? By analysis, understand what is the consciousness behind, and ultimately reach that consciousness by intellectual understanding. That what you are seeing, it is not possible unless that consciousness is there. What you know, it is not possible to know without that consciousness. Therefore, you have to only one thing to know, this conscious entity which is behind all our experiences. And it is to be done very diligently, and with a very fine buddhi, intellect. Not this gross intellect through which we eat, sleep, and pass our days. You have to be very sharp intellect to understand what is that I am seeing. What is in me allowing me to see? What is that I am hearing? I am touching. I am tasting. What is the consciousness? What is that allowing me to understand? So these are the things to be analytically every day discussed and come to the conclusion. And that conclusion is called the consciousness behind everything. Given the example, in, in different pots and pans, is there only space? This house, this temple, the temple space. That bookshop, that's a bookshop space. That's a White House, that's a space for living, people living. But space is the one, as that one place. Similarly, the consciousness is only one. They have given the example in thousands of lamps, fire everywhere. And fire is the only one thing, though it is manifesting in thousands of lamps. Similarly, thousands and millions of bodies may be there, but there is behind that one Atman, self. It is called consciousness. It is eternal. And they have given this type of example that in diverse types of reservoir, water is the only thing which is there everywhere. Like the diverse types of flowers, there is only honey, is the essence in everything. Like there may be infinite number of cane, sugar cane sticks, but rasa or the sugar, that is the one entity in on the diverse numbers of sugarcane sticks. Similarly, Chaitanya, only the consciousness, that is revealing itself, and that is the one absolute reality. And in that absolute one full consciousness, all this world has been imagined. And it is imagined, the entire universe has been imagined by Maya. Maya is a technical term that covers our vision and does not allow us to see the conscious entity behind. And he said, this foundation remaining the same, this covering of ignorance makes it diverse and it appears to be so different. Then 24th verse we read, there it says that in that undivided, absolute, full, where there is no touch of even the duality, there is nothing but absolute Sat, so absolute reality, existence, Satchidananda, Sat aspect is present there. And this whole universe appears like a dream. It is like, but it is dream on what? You are seeing God everywhere. God is there, but it's mental projection. You are seeing the diversity. Therefore, there is only one reality, Kevalang Brahma Matrastu. There is only one absolute reality, which is called Brahman, Satchidanandam, whose nature is absolute reality, absolute consciousness, and absolute bliss, and it is non dual. That is the indicated truth. All the scriptures are teaching us, and that is beyond all sound, sabdatitam, aksharatitam. It is aksaram, sharatitam. It is absolute, unbroken, and beyond all these changes. And tatsarupam sayam yaktva, knowing that reality, brahmavit tang purittaja. Even you give up your identity that I am a knower of truth, that Brahma Abhimana, the ego, that also give up. Then, last few verses we read, because this ego that covers the Sarupa, and because of that, you think that I is felt Ego is felt because the consciousness is covered by Abhiman, ego sense. Ataha, therefore, what to do? Samtajya tadbhavam. You have to give up that ego sense and remain kevalam sarupa sthitim, staying in your own spiritual nature. If you can do that, that is called tattva jnanam. That is the knowledge of the realization. Who say? Prahu yogi naha tattvadarshina. This is when described by the yogis who have realized the truth, experienced the truth. Now they're giving verse number 30, we have read the other day. Andhakaro grihe shai sharirang tulikabritam dehadi kanchanasti iti nischayeno vibhavaya. We have read that. What does it mean? When a person covered with a cotton quilt is resting in a dark room, it appears as if nothing exists there. Neither the body you can see, neither the quilt you can see. Think thus with certainty that your essential self alone is and nothing else exists. That means day and night think that you are the Atman, you are the conscious entity behind all these perceptions, and by that way you will be confirming yourself that you are Atman, you are Brahman. Now, 31st verse, what is this reading today? 31st says, Na pasyashi tada kinchit, na pasyashi balo, kada kinchit, vibhati shakshi shat sayam, vibhati shakshi shat sayam, aham asmi iti bhavena, aham asmi iti bhavena, chantas purati kevalam, chantas purati kevalam. Na pasyashi tada kinchit. At that time, when you do not see anything in this world of diversity, you don't see anything but absolute one. Na pasyashi tada, at that point of time, you don't see kinchit, nothing. And vibhati shakshi satsayam. Only there is the existence. Vibhati means it is glowing in its own nature. They are shining. There is shining only one thing, manifesting only at that witness, that consciousness. When everything goes away, then you can feel that there is one entity, that is shining entity, the light of light, and it's called the conscious entity. That will remain only. Ahomasmi iti bhavena. Now, what remains that you only, and you think, I am that. Thinking this, if you continue, Chantas Purati Kevalam, in the heart, only that revelation, that light, that effulgence will be felt. It's a very wonderful idea. We see in the world all these what is called name and form, diversity. We see, and that is called knowledge, according to our secular experience of the world. A person is called knowledgeable person. Who is a knowledgeable person? Who knows many things. But the Upanishad says, knowing many is ignorance. Bahu Gyan or Gyan. Ramakrishna says that knowing many is called ignorance. Ak Gyan, knowing only one, is the knowledge. Bahu Gyan or Gyan, Ak Gyan Gyan. So Bahu Gyan, and we appreciate the person who knows psychology, who knows philosophy, who knows science, who knows all types of different divisions of what you call knowledgeable subjects in the university. You go, How many topics, how many subjects are they are now studying? Branches, 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 subdivision. We used to study in early days when it was 60, 50, 60 years past. That time we used to study what? Physics, chemistry, mathematics, bas. And chemistry is what? Organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry. That's all. Huh? At least I don't know. Our time, these two. And now, oh my God, you go to the chemistry, chemical engineering is good. No, sorry, chemistry added with engineering, chemistry added with science, different other aspects. So it is infinite branches have been bifurcated into. And we think, oh, it is called knowledge, knowing this, knowing that, knowing that, knowing that. But into spiritual science, you know many means you are a fool. Know only one, knowing which everything is known. That's why Upanishad says, no? Mundaka Upanishad says, Kasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatam bhavati iti. What is that? Knowing only that, only knowing which. Everything else is known. Yes. Is there any science? Knowing which everything will be known? Yes. There is that consciousness. Know that foundation of all experience is the consciousness. Who is that? Who is seeing? The eyes don't see. If the nervous system gets some damage, I cannot see anything. Everything is there. Man is capable of performing everything. Okay, your nervous system is okay. Okay, brain, uh, no, it is also good. Okay, then your mind is somewhere, and I look like that. I won't see anything. So mind is the factor. So this depends on so many factors to perceive that. But go back, mind does not see. Who is behind the mind? Who says, I have seen? What is that I? Who is that I consciousness? What is that giving us the awareness that I saw a man? So, what is that I? Who is giving that I the authority to say, I have seen? So, this analysis, if anyone does every day, that is the foundation of all knowledge, all science, astronomy, philosophy, metaphysics, these, that, whatever you talk about, everything is a knowledge. But knowledge is possible because of the substratum or the foundation, that consciousness. That consciousness percolates from that to the ego. Ego gets percolated by that consciousness and then it reaches the buddhi, intellect. Intellect gets percolated with the consciousness, saturated with the consciousness, goes down, 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 and comes to the eyes. I see, eyes, I hear, I see. Yeah. There are doctors that put some anesthesia, but you don't see anything, you don't hear anything. Because they disconnect the mind or the nervous system. They do the operation. What they do? Big operations. Knee surgery, hip surgery, where it takes long time with chiseling and cutting and sawing and all these things. Like a piece of wood. They do treat these bones and things. But you don't understand anything. How? Body is undergoing all the pain, but the brain is not, it is not communicated to the brain, and brain is sleeping. And behind that, mind is sleeping. You can have a good dream also that time. No, mind is sleeping, so no dream. Susupti. So anyway, so point is that what is that knowledge? Knowing one, you know everything. That is the fundamental knowledge. That's why uh, Sri Ramakrishna neglected all this secular knowledge. But he went to Great scientist, he is a great scientist. He didn't go to get diversified knowledge, but he penetrated into the consciousness which is inside and he reached that consciousness. That's why whenever we find that he is having experience, look at that. All pervaded light, 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 and it's all bright and brilliant and everything, and he is gradually losing his outer consciousness and diving deep and merging into it. Huh. So that is the conscious entity, foundation of all diverse experiences. So he is the real scientist. Scientists want to find the unity in this diversity, oneness. And he didn't spend any time for learning in your alphabet or even knowing other things, anything it didn't interest. He went to the foundation of all knowledge. That is called the consciousness. So, napasyashi sada tada kinchit. At that point, when your mind is so gone back to the witness consciousness behind all our perceptions, then napasyashi tada kinchit. You don't see anything in the world. Yeah, when they come back, they see only oneness. That Vaikuntha Sannal, he was seeing that one everywhere. Face, he says that Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna everywhere. What is that Christian saint? Christ in the front, Christ in the back, Christ in the east, west, below, above. So everywhere is seeing Christ, the conscious light of consciousness. So all the mystics, when they go to that depth, to the foundation, and there is nothing, diversity remains. That's why no pasasi tada kinchit. A Brahmagyani, a knower of truth, does not see anything there. No object. Only one object. Like they see only water. They don't look at the ripple, wave, bubble, foam, not in these diverse names. They only, that's why it's called, knowing all this is only knowing the name only. Namui Vaita. When the Narada went to the teacher said, "Oh, you know this science, that science is Namui Vaita. You know the name, you don't know what is the essence of it." So, when this diversity stops, you do not see anything, then what happens? Sakshi, Sat, Sayam, Bhati. Then you see witness, who is witnessing everything. He does not do anything. His only job to witness. He does not get involved into anything. Only observing all the incidents of life, whatever comes, happiness, misery, pleasure, pain, anger, frustration, depression, upset, death, life, is all the observer. So that is unchanged, and that is Sakshi, and that is Sat. That is the eternal reality. And that's Swayam, I am that Sakshi. Not this body. Body is observed by the eyes. Eyes are observed like that. Observable. So, Drishya, the subject, object. So here, their science only, what science? Sakshi, the witness, big witness. We call, in the devotion, language of devotion, we call God. But in Vedantic term, we call the witness consciousness. That is the only reality. And I am that. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, they say. I am of the nature of Chit Ananda, consciousness and bliss. I. So that they say two words, Sat, Chit, Ananda, but they are not three things. They are trying to indicate one eternal absolute truth, which they express in these three words just to let us understand a bit of that reality. Because we live in the level of body mind, and that is a state beyond body level and mind level. So, how will we able to grasp an idea? Now, ahamosmi iti bhavena, how will you get it? That consciousness is me. It is not separate from me. I am thinking I am this, but I am feeling this because of that consciousness. And that consciousness is me only. That's why the greatness of the Mahavakyas, great dictums. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. The why it is so important. You know the Brahman, but why to identify I am Brahman? Because this identification should come. I am not the body, then what am I? I am not the mind, but what am I then? To you have to say, I am not the body, not the mind, but I am that consciousness, that witness, that eternal witness. And there is nothing but me. What me? This is our fundamental uh, problem is that whenever I say I, me, we think of the body. Body comes first. But they are not talking about body. They're talking about something which is beyond body. And this body idea drops off at a certain point. Body idea, mind idea, one after another will drop. Will remain alone. That's why it is called Sakshi, Cheta, Kevala, Nirgunas. That only one remains. So that is the fundamental point. This everyday spiritual aspirant should try not to see many, but to see one in the many. That is the sadhana. And when one reaches that point and comes down, they spontaneously see the inside of all as the conscious entity. They don't see any. Oje Shankaracharya, in the after the realization of Brahman, he says, Kutralinam idam jagat, kaggatam. Where did it go? Kaggatam, kenavanitam. Who is that great personality? Take away all this duality from me. Kaggatam, kenavadinam. Kutralinam idam jagat. Where dissolved? Where disappeared this world? Odunoiva maya drishta. Just I was seeing in ignorance this diverse universe, sun, moon, stars, human being, all this crowd, all this talk, all this news, media, this, that, and this gun, Nastikim, there's nothing all this. Not Adbhutam. What a surprise. So this is the surprise to a seer of truth. There's this diverse universe of so much love, hatred, good, bad, life, death, question of suffering, this, that. Why did it disappear? It was never with me. And I see that I alone abide. That means there is a book. Swami, Atman alone abides by Swami. What is his name? Atulananda. Hoblam. He was Hoblam. He was born in Holland and he came to New York and saw Swami Vivekananda and also Swami Turiyananda was his guide, much more guidance from him. So that is the Atman alone abides. There is nothing but the Atman. That is the only reality. So, therefore, when you do not see anything, no pasyashi tada kinchit bhati, that there is science, nothing, only what bhati, the sakshi, sat, swayam. There only reflects or one only shines forth the sakshi witness, and that is sat, That is the eternal substance, and that is Swayam, and you are that Swayam. That light is not separate from you. Ahamasmiti, and you day and night think as a student of Vedanta, I am that light, that ever shining light. It is eternal all the time. It is morning time, it was there with me, noon time, it was there, then all the activity time, it is here. Talking now, it is here. I go to sleep, that time, it is here. I dream, that time, it is here. That is me all the time. It's a big spiritual practice. And people think that only doing japa and the rosary, that is the sadhana. Yeah, that is one part of the sadhana, but this is the Vedantic sadhana, day and night we are aware. I am that consciousness. I am that consciousness. Not this activity is what is going on. I'm the observer of that. And I am that witness, the reality of my own self. I am that and I am that self. So that only science inside. 32 verse. Nishesho tyakta sanghata nishesha tyakta sanghata kevala sarupaha sayam kevalaha sarupaha sayam osti nasti buddhi dharme osti nasti buddhi dharme sarvatmana purityajit sarvatmana purityajit. So now what we have to do? We have to give up. Sanghata. Sanghata means this duality. Sanghata, then this nishesha, or totally taktva, giving up. So we have to give up totally this sanghata. Sanghata means association, a connection, link. We connect with the objects of the universe as objects. We have to connect it with as myself. If I can see that, it is a practice every day, then I cannot hate anyone. Because I am that. And there comes the one spiritual journey starts there. So nishesha tyakta sanghate, when one can totally give up the association then of this name and form and this objective universe, kevala sarupasayam, there remains only kevala, only your own spiritual nature remains. You remain there only in your spiritual dignity. Kevala sarupasayam. And osti nasti buddhi dharma. Our intellect says osti and nasti. It is here, it is not here. I understand, I don't understand. These are all your nature of your buddhi, understanding, or intellect. Intellect can understand this duality. It is here, it is not here, I understand, I don't understand. All these things in your buddhi only. That means it is happening in the intellectual level. You are not the intellect. You are the witness of the intellect. So, ostinasti buddhi dharme. So, whatever comes as a nature of you being an intelligent person, or you are a person with some sort of affirmative quality to some instrument in us, there is something which affirms things. Mind cannot confirm the thing. Mind is indecisive. Something comes to the mind presents its buddhi, intellect. Intellect then it quickly can scan like your computer. You ask one word and you search in Google, and Google engine brings how many results? Hundreds and thousands of results at a time. So buddhi also does this quickly. And it represents something as confirmed. Yes, I saw it before. This is this. So this is called the table. This is called the lab. So this is happening. It's the Buddhi Dharma. So Osti Nasti Buddhi Dharme Sarvatmana Parityajit. With all effort, all yourself, try to give up whatever your concept comes. It is here, it is not here, the object of the universe, what is apparently changing, it is not there. With this conviction, you remain Kevala Sarupa Sayam. You remain only in your divine self. When all associations are completely renounced, one's own self that is essential and uncompounded in nature alone remains. Therefore, one should completely give up the idea, a property of the intellect, that of existence and non existence. We say, this is here, this object is here, I am here, all existence, some say it is not here, both the concept of existence and non existence, give up everything, only hold on to that consciousness. A very fine area, it cannot be just explained to this language. It is just a point of meditation. I'm experiencing, look at that. From morning till now, how many things we experienced? Maybe 1 million, 1 billion. How many things we have seen? How many leaves we have seen? How many trees we have seen? How many times I look at the sky, I saw the dark cloud, I saw the rain falling. Every experience, every split second, what is happening? These are buddhi dharma happening in the intellect. Intellect is saying, I understand, this is called this is called this. This buddhi dharma is to be totally abandoned. We go beyond buddhi. We are doing to the buddhi level, we have to jump out of that buddhi level and go to the witness level. And that witness permeates everything. That witness gives us the perception of this universe. So, to go back to our home, eternal home, as witness consciousness. So, this whole book is trying to teach us that methodology to reach that eternal consciousness, not to get stuck into the buddhi dharma, means the characteristics which the buddhi, our intellect, presents before us. Buddhi's nature is to only differentiate. That is the Buddhist nature. We say sometimes, oh, he's a fool. Meaning, his buddhi cannot separate out this and that. In my material world also, people criticize them who cannot separate out one thing from the other thing. Arey, you don't understand this simple logic? People talk about when they talk about philosophy and other things. Any issue they come, it is in the mental level, and mind cannot decide, it goes to buddhi. Buddhi determines. Buddhi says it is good, that's why you go in that path. A person comes with a gun and runs after someone. His buddhi is saying, this is good, hit him. So people hit that. Buddhi guides us everything. That's why Hindus practice every day. Oh Lord, Thiyo Yona Prachodaya, please help me, guide my buddhi. This buddhi is such. Buddhi says the spiritual life is good. And Buddhi says, I am here, what is nonsense? Let me go and enjoy something outside. Outside someone, they think, oh, what is that? It is better to go to the monastery. Same Buddhi intellect is such a factor that it is controlling us totally. Our whole life is controlled by our buddhi. You, what is the Bhagavad Gita? Jo Jasanta Sayevasa. Shraddha here meant that understanding, the confirmed, Buddhist confirmed understanding. Jo Jasanta Sayevasa. Buddhi. Buddhir Jasyanolipate. Gita is saying, whose buddhi does not get entangled with the objects. That's the pure buddhi will be only seeing that what is the behind all this perception, that consciousness. Buddhi is here, behind is the consciousness, and in front is the objective universe. When the objective universe is here, you see the diversity, and buddhi decides this is good, this is bad. Therefore, buddhi dharme osti nasti. In the buddhi, the nature of the activity of the buddhi, there is, it says it is here, it is not here, I like it, I dislike it, I want it, I don't want it. All these things are done in our intellect. Intellect guides us. Our whole life is guided by intellect. Kubuddhi, we call bad intellect, bad guidance. His mind is clouded mind, giving a wrong direction. And Subuddhi, good understanding. So all these are to be understand that the whole universe, our concept is depending on our buddhi, our understanding about the object. But behind that is the self-effulgent Atman here, and that is the foundation of all experience. Now, second 32 verse is also same idea is being carried out. It says, Aham sarvatmana taktva, Aham sarvatmana taktva, sarva bhavena sarvada, sarva bhavena sarvada, Aham asmi iti aham bhami, Aham asmi iti aham bhami, Visrijya kevalo bhava, Visrijya kevalo bhava. Visrijya means giving up, totally giving up. Aham sarvatmana taktva, sarva bhavena sarvada. Aham, I, the ego identity, completely sarvatmana means totally. I, intellect, and now they're coming to ego. Uh, Ego is the next superior to our understanding. I understand. Understanding, my understanding, I. So here he said, this I, ego identity, sarvatmana, completely, totally, taktva, giving up, sarva bhavena, in all possible ways. Ego, Ramakrishna said also, ego is like a sticky thing. You put, you try to take out from one thing and it gets stuck into the other thing. So ego is very delicate area. And he said that ego is like a branch of a tree. You cut it, but within few days you find again sprouts are coming from there. Branches are again generated there. So it is very difficult to cut the ego. That when Ramakrishna said, let that ego remain like a rascal ego, let it be like a servant ego. I am the servant of God. And Vedanta will say, I am that divine God. I am that divine. This is both. Daso aham, so aham. I am the servant of God. That's also ego gets zero. I am the son. I am no entity. I am a servant of God. That's the zero identity, ego. And I am that everything. Here also, this ego is gone. So both place takes us to the same realization. So this aham sarvatmana taktva, that I idea, first he said buddhi. Buddhi dharme parityajit. Then buddhi, understanding about so many things and knowing all these things, all the nature of buddhi. Buddhi is always determinative faculty of our mind. and we trust on our buddhi too much. We always, if we don't take any advice from others, why? And I understand. My buddhi, I trust too much. That's why he said, don't trust your buddhi too much. Trust the buddhi which the holy people, the saints and sages, their buddhi. Follow their buddhi. Then your buddhi will be purified. So that we read the verse number 32, talking about buddhi and buddhi dharma, intellect and its corresponding behavior, understanding, and relative knowledge about the universe, which buddhi guides us and buddhi directs us. So give up that buddhi dharma. Now he is saying aham sarvat manataktva, another step, very very fine step. Crossing the buddhi, only last step is called aham, ego. So aham sarvatmana taktva sarva bhavena, day and night say, nai, naham, naham, not me, not me, not me, not me. If you are a devotee, say, not me, O Lord, thou, 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 thou. Eh? Or Vedanta, I am not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, I am that consciousness. Say, sarvada, sarvabhavena, taktva, giving up that ego identity with sarvatmana, totally, with wholeheartedly, totally giving up the identity with the ego, with the objective universe and body, mind, etc. Ahamasmi iti, I am that, iti, aham bhami, I am the only effulgent substance. I am only manifesting in the form of the whole world. And that's Vedantic highest experience. Kevalo Bhav. You be only to yourself. Who you are, be like that. Be what you are. That's very. So you have to give up the ego totally. And ego with what? Not with the conscious entity, but the ego which is attached to this material universe and not specifically this body, this mind, my possession. Aham iti, aham, aham iti, mama iti. Aham iti, mama iti. Naishadgiko and loko vyavahara. The whole human world, humankind, lives on this one. I and mine. Aham and mine. Me and mine. My house, my building, my car, my thing, my money, my thing. I and me. I. Me. That is what. When I is gone, oh Lord, it is you, spiritual. Aham. So it is to discard the ego level, discard the intellect level. That these are not me. Sa Ramakrishna said, Sa Buddhi. That is called the real intelligence. Sa Chaturi. That intelligence is called real intelligence, not the intelligence to cheat someone. That also needs great talent to cheat someone, to steal others' property, to give wrong argument and win the situation. So this is not that we are talking about. So, aham asmi iti aham bhami. I am that only. And I am bhami. I am getting manifested in this Sri Job Kevalo. This idea of identification with others and identifying with my real self. Only you be yourself. You be yourself. Having totally renounced the ego identity forever, completely, in all possible modes, and having let go the idea that I am and I am in this, I am that manifested universe, be uncompounded. That means don't get mixed with this world. You are untainted absolute one. No mixed. Duality is a mixture. Absolute one is the reality. So be that. That is the third. So I can end here. This is 32 verse. Okay. Any question? You are here. Yeah, good. Please loud little bit.
So, what happens after you see like that nothingness aspect? Like I feel like uh, uh, I'm using I, but the consciousness, like I got to a point where I'm seeing the depression, and I never really went through it. A lot of different aspects, depression, uh, as well as like positives. It's like I almost went back to nothingness, and but in that place, it was like it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't what I viewed as a positive. It was just empty, and that's where I feel like I got kind of stuck in my journey and experience. Uh, how does it tie into the message today? Is I hear about the consciousness aspect, and uh, I'm I guess I need a release.
Question, did you understand what is?
He is on his own experience. He's going to a place that he feels emptiness. There is nothing there,
No,
but he is there.
And I never had been there before.
That's right. That's true. But emptiness, if you say, I was feeling emptiness, that there is somebody I who is feeling that emptiness. Just think now.
Did you ask if I pondered on it?
Whatever, to know emptiness, there is some knowledge is necessary. Without that, you cannot know. So to know emptiness, you say, I felt emptiness, meaning there is some consciousness behind that emptiness. The very deeper subject. So we have to contemplate that. Huh? Because it is here, I understand. That is, it is not here, I understand. That means there is some consciousness which understands it is here, which says it is not here. To have not here negative, there is the presence of some consciousness is necessary. That is the difference between Buddhism and Hinduism. There is no difference, but intellectual difference. When you say negate everything, everything gone, no, it's nothing. But who says nothing? If you say, I negate everything, and ultimately there is void. If you say void, who is experiencing that void? Who is saying it is void? Somebody should be there. To feel it is void, you need somebody to be witness of that voidness. This is a very sharp distinction. That means, Anubhuyante yena tam kena nivarayate. Panchadoshi, a great Vedanta text says, you experience whatever you experience. Yes, present, not present, good, bad, nothing. You experience. So who is the experiencer? You cannot get out without that experiencer. Who experiences? It is void. I experience it is void. So there is I. So that I you catch. That is with you. It is not, that's the beauty of Vedanta, that it does not have to go anywhere else. You will be able to respond to your questions. Right. Okay, we end our class. I of course I have ended, still did not officially. So it is okay. We end our prayer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Anyhow, tomorrow will be 7:30 again. We hear gospel class, gospel of Ramakrishna. We will be reading here. And now we go to the another question. Given Brahman and Shakti are one, why such insistence giving two names to the one, making Brahman as witness, calling him purest, when the same one also is responsible for forming of the three gunas and the world? Very good question. Brahman and Shakti are one. If we understand, then this question does not come. Because we are hearing this, that Brahman and Shakti are one. That's why we are giving two names, because I don't understand. I don't understand Brahman, I don't understand Shakti. But when I see the manifestation, we call it Shakti. But where did it come from? Is out of minus Brahman? No. Brahman, the ocean, waves don't come out of nothing. Waves cannot come without the ocean. The ocean is the substratum, Brahman, and the waves and ripples are the Shakti. Why two names? Two names for us who don't understand. To a person of knowledge, it is ocean. Ocean with wave, ocean without wave. So that is your, I think, we do it, we use this term because we don't understand to take, the rishis helped us to take ourselves through these examples to that oneness, what we are all seeking for. And when one understands that, then there is nothing impure in the world. There is gunas, these, that, these are all joy and charm. When we know that this ocean is playing in its different waves and it is dancing from this end to that end, so that's a joyful thing. Yeah. But if you don't know, ocean is separate, waves are separate. Yes, for us ignorant people, they say, yes, it is the Shakti of the ocean. So the Upanishads help us to go to the foundation of this manifested universe. Manifestation is on the waves and ripples. Go to the foundation of that, the ocean you see. But then in your understanding that is the wave different from the ocean? No. Is it a part of the ocean? But yes, it is nothing but ocean. So when that knowledge comes, that is the absolute knowledge. But when we are not reached that level, I see the duality. So I know it is wave is different. We rarely think of ocean when we focus our attention on the waves. Our attention goes on the waves only. So name and form is the wave, but it is standing on the foundation of Brahman. So Brahman and Shakti are one, but I don't understand. That's why the sages are using the two terms so that we go from the Shakti, the manifestation, to the foundation of that Shakti, the ocean. And then we find, oh, it is not two different, it is the one on one form and the another form. Oh, this is the, so far I think this is the response. Another question, Shirley. Shirley. Sometimes I imagine the self, capital, as perfect stillness, while this body ages, thoughts rise and fall, and the whole world swirls about this self. It is like the rainbow of oil that ships on water. Is sadhana because is sadhana. It is like the rainbow of oil that ships on water is sadhana. Because Brahman pervades completely. It does not differentiate between appearance because there is no separation possible. I think the sometimes I imagine this self capital is as perfect stillness while this body ages. When you think of the Atman, the body question does not remain at all. And if you think the body, yes, body is changing all the time. But Atman never changes because you look at that. From our childhood, I say, I. It has never become old. The child I and today's I, it is the same I. Only the I is standing and so many experiences are going. Childhood experience, adulthood experience, old age experience, all are coming and going, coming and going. So it is stillness, this Atman is unchanging. That's why sometimes it is a good imagination that I am the self and perfectly still, nothing happening there, no change there, but the body is changing. Don't stop there. Body is changing. Look at the mind, how mind is changing here. Meditation. You see, you are the self, still, unchanging reality. And you meditate, your mind is going to New York, to Boston, to Providence, to here and there, no? Running. So you do not observe it? Yes, you observe it. So think, I am the unchanging self, and these are the things, mind is moving here and there. So observe not only of the body. Body is aging, body is changing, mind is aging, mind is changing. We are not remaining in the child's mind. Suppose a baby, how their world is different world. They take a doll and think that doll, my baby is sick, and they're crying. Baby has become sick. They live in a different world. Their mind is not the same mind of today's mind. So mind is changing, body is changing. So all these changes are happening, and I am the unchanging, unmoved, that still consciousness. That's a good idea. Huh? Thank you. Actions are gross form of our thoughts. Okay? As far as I understand, religion requires oneself to purify oneself, even at the thought level, of course. When the present society has mostly no control over its actions itself, how hopeful does it look to expect that it could regulate it at the thought level? The thought level, yes, everything is changing in the thought level. No, people think one way. That's why they suppose this uh, country is run by whom? Some people who are thinking about the welfare of the country in one way. Some senators are thinking one way, some senators are thinking that way. They go into vote and then some resolution passed. That is in the thought level. So this whole manifested world is an expression of the thought. What you think, that manifests. So this thought should be purified. This thinking, as far as I understand, religion requires oneself to purify oneself. Right? We have to purify. Even at the thought level. Yes, physical level, mentally, physically, we should be pure. Or think holy thoughts. Physically do holy or job work, mentally think holy thoughts. But question is that present society has mostly no control over its actions itself. How hopeful does it look to expect? Yes, it can change if the people who are ruling the country, who are in power, their thought changes. That's why uh, the moral values, spiritual values, if it is injected into the mind of the people who are actually in power, the thought current will manifest as a good product in the society. So it depends on actually thought. What is the thought current? That is the expression. Someone thought that here will be a temple. First he thought. And the thought manifested later on in this temple. So someone can think, I will kill, I will destroy the Twin Tower. That's also thought. It happened in the thought level. And then we see what happened afterwards. In action, it came out. So every person can think this way, negative way, positive way. So spiritual life, even for society is good, one should think positively. If people start thinking positive thoughts more, good will come. And individual spiritual life does not depend on that. Spiritual life, what the world thinks, that is their business. My thought should be divine. My thought should be uplifted. My thought will think the witness, consciousness behind. So it is individual sadhana, individual practice. Okay. Okay. Thank you all for being in this discussion, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. একটা ক্যালেন্ডার এসে গেছে।